It always seems impossible until it is done. These are words from Nelson Mandela, a son of Africa, who has made us proud a number of times and who will remember with a lot of love for generations to come. Good morning and thank you for waking up with the CRTV. If you're watching us, then definitely you started the journey with a very beautiful lady who's still on, though. She's on CRTV News, our sister channel, and we are on CRTV Premium. Thank you to Diane Gassa and the whole team of CRTV News who open the station each day at 6 o'clock so that we can come in at about this time to continue entertaining you and helping you as you wake up and step into the day. Now, how best would it be for you to step into a day than to know more about who you are, about the history of who we all are, what affected us before, so that you know what is ahead of you. Let's start with our slot, Did You Know, on this program. And today we're talking about a city that was first colonized by Germans, then it was colonized by the English, then it was colonized by the French, and then it's called Chang. That's the story of Chang, told through the eyes of documents collected by Dusseldorf-born Eugene Zingraf. And Kembe Ngochi has been going through all of that history to tell us more about Chang.
The documented history of Chang began in 1895 when it was invaded by a German military mission. In 1909, the city replaced Fontaine as the capital of a German military district. The region where Chang now exists was then not the place of any major settlement, but instead was an area that two bordering chiefdoms fought over. The name Chang translates to dispute in the local language. Between Germany and Cameroon, two cities connect because of one explorer. Dusseldorf-born Eugene Zingraf was the first colonial explorer to visit Chang. His dealings with the locals in and around Chang are well documented in the exhibit at Dusseldorf's National Museum. Chang is said to be the city where the Germans installed their first military post in 1903. As seen in this picture, German troops parading in Chang some months before the Allies chased them out. Following Germany's defeat in World War I, Cameroon became a British possession in 1917. Here in the 1915 picture, natives of Chang helped Allied forces to pull down relics of Germans' presence in the area, as reported at the time by the Daily Mirror, an English paper. The country was subsequently handed over to the French in 1920, who declared Chang the capital of the West Province and developed the city's vacation resort in the 1940s. This resort now forms the basis of Chang's plans to promote the city as a tourist destination. On January 1, 1960, Cameroon became an independent state and the regional administration was moved to the city of Bafoussam. Chang suffered from this move as much more effort was invested in the infrastructure of Bafoussam. Following the opening of the University of Chang in 1993, foreign interest and developmental investment of the city began to increase, and plans for a drive to increase tourism and exploitation of mineral deposits will contribute to the city's current development. If you love tea, you may well want to know that the Njutisa tea plantation, opened in 1970 by the French, is found in Chang.
Now you know as much about Chang as much as we know on the set, and that's what we try to do each morning, to contaminate you with knowledge and inform you so that we can have we can step up our debates. Now you can go debate about Chang. Let me receive a very beautiful lady, a very talented, a multitasking, like all women, you know, but this one, her level is higher. She's called Florence, and she's just starting a career in gospel singing. But before that, she has a lot to share with us. Florence, please come over. Good morning, and thank you for coming on the set today. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm very happy to have you. Please sit down.
Yeah, thank you.
Your artist name is Florence.
Yes.
But how would you present yourself?
Oh,
before the artist part came into the story.
Oh yes, before the artist part came into the story, my name, Akong Enaka Eno Florence Epuzo Watu Chiwo. That's a whole sentence.
It's a whole paragraph, actually. But tell me about, we'll talk about your musical career very shortly in the second part of our exchange. But first of all, who is Florence? Where did you go to school? What do you do for a living? Where do you stay?
Okay. Florence is just a young lady, under 40, a born-again child of God. I grew up in Douala, born and bred in Douala actually, but I schooled in Seka Baptist College for my secondary education and high school education. And after that, I went to the University of Boya, where I did journalism and mass communication. Okay.
And how would you describe, how would you explain your coming into singing, because you've just released your album. It's your first album.
Yeah.
We'll be discovering, we'll be having an idea of that album on this program. But how would you describe your coming into gospel singing?
Okay.
I think the fact that you studied in Seka could have prepared you for this.
I know you were going to get me on that.
But tell me.
Definitely, Seka girls are known for their singing. Yes, the desire for singing, for music, actually got built up in me way back in Seka Baptist College. And I used to, desire to create my own music other than what we used to sing in school. But I received the ability, the gift of being able to compose my own songs. In 2005, you may ask me how come it took so long for me to step out. Yes, 2005, that's when I got the ability, the gift of creating my own music, writing my own music.
Okay. And what is in your song? If somebody were to sit and listen to you sing, what are you singing in your songs?
It's diverse. But I think the basic part about my songs is that it's spirit-filled. I actually receive inspirations from the Holy Spirit, and I think that it brings about life and hope. Okay. Yes.
What's the title of your album, and what message do you want people to retain after listening to it?
Yes, the title of this new album is Ta Parole.
Ta Parole.
Yes, I sing in both French and English languages, and what I want people to retain from it, I want people to know that there is hope. The God who created us is also well able to take care of us. And above all, He expects us to relate with Him as not only as the God who created, but also as a father, a loving father.
Well, thank you so much. You are not moving from here. We're going to keep you a little longer. But first, do you know about our palaces? Have you visited a palace before?
Maybe only the palace of my village.
By the way, where is your village?
Oh, my village is called Sabis. A lot of people don't know. It's a very small village in Upper Bayan subdivision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe before we go, we'll ask you to say hello to people who are watching us from Sabis. But right now, though, I want to invite you to go discover some palaces of the West region through the eyes of a museum here in Yaoundé. And our guide in this report is Ariane Sessiombo.
This is a representation of a typical chief's palace in the West region, part of Cameroon's vast grassland zone. It is a sacred place, replete with artifacts.
Ces objets ont plusieurs fonctions et ont plusieurs significations. D'autres sont là uniquement à titre décoratif.
These objects have various functions. Some are decorations while others are used to magically and religiously protect the chief. Also, some artifacts will present the cultural riches of the chiefdom.
Du royaume en termes de production artistique et picturale.
The chief's throne is a key eye-catching feature in these palaces. A wide array of other objects surround the throne, each serving a particular purpose.
En principe, ces animaux que vous voyez au sein de nos chefferies ne sont pas mis là par hasard. Ils ont toute une signification.
The depiction of animals you find in our chiefdoms are not solely for decorative purposes. Behind each of them is a meaning and myth. Let's take the case of the panther. It is a king of animals in the forest zone and not the lion which lives in the savannah. In order for the chief to be the symbol of power and might that he is, he ought to sit on the panther's skin. An alligator alligator represents a supernatural force. In some communities, it serves as a link between the visible and invisible worlds. To sum it all, the animals depicted in our chiefdoms serve as protection to the chiefdom and its people and ensures their social justice.
Également là pour la justice sociale au sein de ces différentes composantes.
A majority of these artifacts are handmade with wood and metals.
Dans le contexte africain, notamment camerounais, la plupart de nos objets sont fabriqués avec le bois. Parce qu'en Afrique, on considère que le bois c'est un être vivant. Parce que le bois naît.
In the African context, notably in Cameroon, a majority of our objects are made of wood because in Africa we believe wood is a living being. It has a vital force because its roots and barks are medicinal. Some woods are used for protection, as it is the case with Babinga. We equally have objects made out of bronze, fibers, and clay. All of these are basic materials used for the fabrication of arts objects common in Cameroon.
Des œuvres sculpturales, picturales et architecturales des peuples camerounais.
The palace is a venerable place full of symbolism, home to the chief and members of the royal family, but above all, its gates are flung open for everyone. It is an embodiment of the chiefdom's strength and a cultural treasure trove.
That's just some kind of a teaser or an appetizer, because Irene Sisi has joined us here on the set, so we'll look further into this discussion about palaces and maybe find out from her. Irene Sisi, good morning.
Good morning, Buchi.
You want to tell me what motivated you to talk about palaces?
Well, some days, or let's say a month ago, went to the Blackitude Museum.
Okay.
And it's a place that keeps records or archives of mostly what we have in the West region. And we took interest in that palace because we discovered that there were a lot of artifacts.
Okay.
And our guide told us that all the objects you see in a chief's palace or around the chief's throne are not just there for decorative purposes. They all play a role. And part of the role it plays, or they play, is that it protects the chief magically or spiritually, and it also protects the chiefdom. And the chief's palace is open to everyone. But when you enter the chief's palace, you don't approach the throne. And he said this is because around the chief you have a lot of good things and a lot of bad things. You have good spirits and evil ones. So if you get in contact into the if you get close to the chief, you may end up being affected by what happens around.
Did he kind of tell you how you enter a palace, though? Like how, if you're invited by a chief, what attitudes?
It's true, we didn't really ask, but I know that you don't go and meet the chief empty-handed. So you need to bring something.
Need to carry something.
Yes, but you don't have access to where his throne is. Or even if he receives you in another room, there is a certain distance. And like I was saying, there are so many reasons. And then still, in addition to these reasons, he said the chief has many wives. And sometimes you may have a wife maybe who wants to put something into the food, maybe cooked by another wife. And so if the chief eats it, nothing will happen to him. But if you eat it, something will happen to you because you are not spiritually
protected in the spiritual world.
So that's it.
So did that scare you, though? Did you?
I was scared. I was scared. I thought at one point the guide frightened me. He said, all these objects you see in the museum are beings. They are not really just objects. They have other things in them. So I thought they were just there for decorative purposes, but he said no. All of these things you see in the chief's palace play a particular role.
Indeed, we live in a time of a lot of myth, and except we understand the language of myth, I wouldn't say you should go delving into it. I have no idea what will happen, though. I don't speak the language of myth, so.
But I'm not scared. One day I'm going to visit a real chief's palace.
Thank you so much for opening that door. Now it's open if you want to know more about palaces. We're talking there about palaces in the West region, but you know what? You can go find out about palaces in any other part of the country, or the other versions of them. They call them the sultanas, they call them I don't know how they call them in different parts of the country, but you could find out and tell us. Irene Sisi, thank you for coming on the program.
Welcome.
Do you like singing? Do you like music?
Yeah, sometimes when I get up in the morning, that's
Yes.
the first thing I do because it gives me a good mood. So
It definitely puts
before
you
I
in a
step up
better
from my
mood.
bed, I sing a little bit. It's true, I don't have a good voice to sing, but
Yes.
I love singing and I listen to a lot of music.
Well, we told you last week we were preparing our special freestyle, so just hook up. Ariane will be one of the lead dancers. The other one will be Mbele Patient. But let me go continue this discussion. Ariane Susi, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Let me go continue our discussion with Florence, who has just released an album on a series of gospel songs. Maybe you will give us a tour of the different songs that you sing and what they talk about.
Okay. The album has 7 tracks.
Okay.
Like I said, both in French and in English. The first one is C'est l'Éternel qui est Dieu. And the next, Forever, Hosanna, I will lift up my eyes to the hills, Ta parole, and my help.
Okay.
Yes.
And now that the song is out there, what do you wish? What is your wish?
Actually, the songs, yes, they are produced, but the launching is yet to come.
Okay.
The launching shall be on the 19th of October in Douala. And I expect people to, come to the launch ceremony and get a worship experience.
I shouldn't be saying this on TV, but I've known Florence I knew her in school, and I didn't know you release a song because you are much like me, the shy one. I'm sure you would have also said I didn't know you end on TV because we all look very shy and very, reserved and stuff.
Timid, yeah.
So I know what happened to me, but what happened to you? Tell me.
The Bible says that the righteous shall be as bold as a lion. I think that's what brought out the real me. Yes, because I really was timid, I know.
Okay. And what do people around you say about you releasing an album now? I don't know. What do they say?
But I must say that some people expected it.
Okay.
Like those, remember when we were in school, I used to sing in the choir?
Yes.
I know people like our former principal, he will not be surprised about this. But a lot of people, they think that it's a big move. And I should venture into it.
I agree, it's a big move. If you are singing, it's a good thing because it heals your soul, it heals your person from inside. And if you're singing gospel, it's the more beautiful. So I wish you a lot of beautiful things ahead.
Thank you so much.
And I pray that you'll be back here many more times to tell us how you're moving in music.
Of course.
But let's go. There is a lady who has almost my kind of hairdo. She's called Mel B. Aquin. Do you know her? Have you heard of Mel B?
Yes, I have heard, but I don't know her in person.
You will be discovering or rediscovering Mel B. Aquin thanks to our cameras right now. We have this beautiful song she has released. It's called Bella. It's Mel B. Aquin in all the kinds of beautiful shades that you can imagine. But most of all, it's a beautiful song. Just enjoy.
Oh, my Bella, Bella. Bella, oh. Bella, eh, 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 eh. Moko sentiment, sentiment. When money enter account, some people them start to frown. Asango yesuwe, make you no check am twice so. Maintenant on est qu'aimé, maintenant Edouni veut me poser. J'en dis que je suis belle, oh because of money. Tout ce que j'avais c'était l'espoir, tout ce que j'avais c'était le rêve, oh. Tout ce que j'avais c'était mon micro, tout ce que j'avais c'était ma voix, oh. Oh, Bella, Bella, eh, Bella, Bella, oh, Bella, Bella, eh, Nounou, oh, chouchou, oh, eh, coucou, oh.
It's called An Invitation. We're inviting you to go discover that song. It's really fresh. It's so spanking new that we couldn't give all of it to you. We don't want to let all of that cat out of the bag. Bella is a song that Mel B has put out there. Go enjoy it. But while you're still with us, we're still here till 10 o'clock. So please stay with us and enjoy the program. We're going to be talking in our wellness page today about pharmacists and Mbele patients. It's right here. Hello, how are you?
Good morning, Pochi.
Good morning.
I love the yellow. It makes me smile.
I know, it's like the sunshine, right?
Yes.
But my eyes are stuck on on what you have on the set with us. I hope our cameras will be able to pick it at close
this is
range.
so appealing, right? Sometimes when you're not well, they prescribe
I've seen this before.
Yes, it looks so clean and shiny.
And dangerous too.
Yes. Dangerous. She said it right. Because you'd see it that way. Someone's selling it and they tie, as they say, in detail, one by one, maybe for 100 francs. When if you go to the pharmacy, you have it for maybe 2,000 francs in a packet. So according to you, you've made a good deal by taking it for 100 francs. But let me tell you something about this particular one. It's expired. Yes, it's been expired since 5 years now. It looks fantastic, it looks neat and fine, but it is an expired drug.
Since 2002, I mean, it's more than that.
Oh, more than that.
Yes.
Can you imagine since 2002?
How many people out there look at dates?
How many people? That's the big question.
I wish we could count, but I'm sure we'll be disappointed. Very few people look at dates.
They just go for the bigger or the lesser, better deal. Less
and
expensive.
We trust a lot.
Yes, and kill yourself too along the way. Well, as you said, we are talking about pharmacists because today is commemorated world over as World Pharmacists Day. It's a day when you get to understand who the pharmacists are, what they do, why they're important to us. But I have to clarify a few things. They dispense medications to patients according to doctors' orders and prescriptions. They do not prescribe medicines. I know when you're sick, you look around and you're like,
a solution.
The first place is the pharmacy. Maybe the hospital is far where you have to pay taxi to get there and you have to pay your consultation fee. But you walk into the pharmacy and you see a pharmacist and they tell you what to do, and that's cheaper for you. But what's important for you to know is each person has a role. The doctor is there to consult you because, Pochi, what is important with the encounter with the doctor is they get to see you, your case, ask for tests, and then understand what is wrong with you globally. Like we said last week, sometimes you may feel a stomach ache, go to the pharmacist, they give you something for stomach ache, but actually it is something that is linked.
It's a symptom of something else.
Yes, maybe depression.
That they wouldn't know, yes.
Maybe depression, and then you get treated for something that's wrong. But with the doctor, they will give you a test to do, and then they will know completely what is wrong with you, and then lead you to the pharmacist.
And if it's been your doctor for a while, he will have your history because that too is important. You want to know whether this is common and if you've been through it before.
Yes.
But I'm still wondering why people go straight to the pharmacist instead of, you know, having a proper checkup, like maybe having a lab test as well to know precisely. Because even if you need antibiotics, like we think at times, they come in different categories. What kind of antibiotics would you need?
Oh, yes, that's true. And sometimes you go there and you want to impose. You have to know that it's important to have a discussion with your pharmacist when you go there. They may ask you, who prescribed this? No, maybe this is not the right thing. Let me call your doctor. Don't tell them, please, I've talked to my doctor. I'll just come here, do your work, give me what I've
And sometimes the medication is off the market, like it's no longer available, and they would know which family of that drug they can propose to you.
Exactly. And then another thing is people prefer to go down the roadside because it's cheaper to get things like this instead of going to the pharmacy. You shouldn't do this, not only because it could be expired, but also because the temperature is not respected. Most people, when they're not well, they're prescribed this for maybe 4 days. And they use it for 2 days and feel better and stop. And then they keep it for maybe next month if they feel the same way. What you need to know is that if your doctor has said 4 days, it's 4 days. After that, the temperature is not right the way you're keeping it, and you would definitely be consuming something that's not healthy for you.
That's also how you create resistances, you know. That's how we came to having now up to 3 medications to treat malaria. Because we started with 1, and then we didn't take it properly. We went to 2, and sometimes you have 3 drugs to help you.
And then finally, Pochi, if you want to be a pharmacist tomorrow, you have to be apt in maths and sciences. You also have to be detail-oriented and accurate because you have to know exactly what the doctor's asking for to give. You have to be an excellent customer and communications person because you have to talk clearly for people to understand what you're doing, and be organized because some people have pharmacies and it's a business deal. You want to know how to do that well. So, Pochi, I met with a pharmacist to talk about what they do, but I also met with a doctor because people switch sometimes, and doctors need to know what pharmacists think about how they get involved in their work as well. So this will be something interesting for you all to watch.
Let's watch. We're waiting for that excerpt on a pharmacist and a doctor to wrap up our wellness page today. I want to remind you, in case you're just joining us, that you're watching Cameroon Feeling on the CRTV. It's the new formula that we'll have for a wake-up show.
Hopefully we'll get that.
A pharmacist is someone who studies pharmacy for 7 years in the Cameroonian system with duty to provide medicines. The role of a pharmacist in Cameroon is misunderstood, primarily because most often the public thinks a pharmacist is just a seller. That is not right. Although there exists the commercial angle to pharmacy, the pharmacist is the second wing of the health cycle. He is there to help the patient to correctly take his medicines through proper counsel, keen verification of the prescription of the medical doctor, and to ensure there are no errors.
Because it's the pharmacist is not a is not a consultant. The pharmacist is not a prescriber of medications. And so if you feel sick, you see a medical practitioner who consults you and then makes a prescription which you will take to the pharmacist.
The pharmacist is only meant to advise, but the main issue is that there are not enough medical doctors, and due to the absence of medical doctors in hospitals, as well as the cost of consultation, most people prefer to see the pharmacist. But the role of the pharmacist is not to consult a patient. It is to correctly redirect the patient to see the correct medical specialist according to the illness.
The pharmacist's role is to give you information on the drug that has been prescribed for you. For example, if there are any side effects of that drug, the pharmacist can give you that information. How best to take your drugs, the pharmacist can give you that information. So the pharmacist has more of a counseling role to play with your prescription. The pharmacist is not a prescriber.
I will listen to you, and according to the pathology. If you have a flu, I will advise you. But if you have a complaint of liver pains, I will send you to a medical doctor.
We know that in our context, many people go to, whenever they have issues with their health, would prefer to go directly to the pharmacist to consult and have him prescribe something for them. It's true that in their training, they have some medical training, but it is not their primary role. It's not their primary role to prescribe, and there are certain drugs which we call over-the-counter drugs, like the paracetamols, which you have your little headache, maybe some multivitamins which you need to boost you up. But there are other drugs which a pharmacist is not authorized to give to you without medical prescription.
If you come for a basic headache, a cold or a cough without any infection, the pharmacist can help you at this level. Whatever is more acute, such as severe cardiac issues and hypertension, it is not the role of the pharmacist to prescribe any medication. I will immediately send you to see a doctor.
And so if you have issues with your health, the real procedure is to go to hospital, consult a medical practitioner. He will make a prescription which the pharmacist will then administer to you.
Okay. Thank you.
The other rule that the pharmacist has is probably if the brand which the medical practitioner prescribed for you is not available, it is the pharmacist's role to propose you another brand of the same drug. But the pharmacist is not authorized to change your doctor's prescription.
The pharmacist is the man who knows medicine. We often have issues with medical doctors because of prescriptions. There are some medicines that should not go together. When identified, we call the medical doctor to ask him to change, but most often they do not understand and it could cause problems. We have the obligation to verify the quality of the medication prescribed, and in the case of incompatibility, call to inform the medical doctor. We would like to send a red alert to all patients on the dangerous roadside medicine phenomenon. These type of medicines are poisonous for the population because of the quality, the origin and composition is unknown. This explains the rise in illnesses like kidney failure because most of these medicines destroy your system. In trying to spend less, you end up spending more. So patients are invited to come to the pharmacy for more information and medication.
Thank you very much, doctor.
They say to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Okay, get your arms now, and I will wish you a healthier life ahead. Did you get the impression, though, when you were preparing for this, where you're going through this report, that people go to the pharmacist because it's an easier solution, and that health specialists need to focus more on conscientizing, on advising?
Yeah, I do agree, because the doctor said he can't really blame the population because there are not enough doctors. There's this brain drain phenomenon. And most people go to the hospital and wait for hours before they see a doctor. They would rather preferably come to a pharmacist and get the quick fix, or go by the roadside to get the quick fix. So it's not really to blame anybody in particular, but it is to see where there are loopholes, so those are filled, and then everyone can have good health.
We wish you a lot of good health going forward, and you need to stay with us every day, every Tuesday at about this time. We'll be talking about an aspect of wellness. Today we're looking at pharmacists and why they are important. They are not just there. They are actually there to help you so that you don't buy expired drugs, so that you don't buy the wrong drugs, so that you have answers, or I was going to say solutions to some of your health problems that concern medication. Thank you so much, Embedded Patients,
Thank you for
coming on the program with us. Tell me, if you don't want to use a gas cooker or this modern kind of cooking that we have, what local options do you go for?
Firewood.
Firewood. I too will go for that anytime. It's so fast. Before you put the pot, you already see it. You know, the water is drying up. You're like, this is fire. So we're going to Marwa to look at this story that is that's fighting against desertification in Marwa. And our reporter looked at some of the ways to preserve our forests. You know, when you talk about fire, one thing that you talk about is firewood too.
Yes.
So before some of us would deplete our forests, our forest of wood, this report is teaching us about a different way of going about it.
In Cameroon's far north region, the phenomenon of desertification have taken a worsening effect over the years, triggering a vicious circle of environmental degradation, leading to impoverishment, food insecurity, and mass migration in very dry areas of the region. These migrations, plus the increase in population growth rate and the expansion of agricultural activities, coupled with the rising demand in fuel wood, has posed a threat to the environmental, economic, and social functioning of the region's ecosystem, hence favoring the encroaching tentacles of desertification. A preoccupying situation it has been for government, indeed, as the population of the region continues to hamper her efforts through the excessive exploitation of the little forest reserves.
We have to first of all know the agroecological zone where we are found. We are found in the Sahel region. And in the Sahel region, we don't have as much biomass as we have in down south. And so the little wood that we have here, we must use it judiciously.
Reasons why government and her partners have continued to map out strategies that will mitigate the exploitation of fuel wood.
The only way we can use our wood judiciously is by using improved stove. With the improved stove, we are going to reduce the quantity of wood considerably. The only thing we can do is reduce that quantity so that we can preserve some of our forests for the future, so that our children will be able to have wood to prepare. And while we are preserving our forests, by using improved stove, we are also planting so that we cut, we plant. With time, we have our forest being replaced. The quantity of wood use is reduced considerably. The problem of climate change is also reduced considerably, and all of us can live in peace and harmony here in the far north. Otherwise,
well, some of those days, these are some of the days when these things do happen. But we we propose, and then we see how the techniques go with us. Some days it's more complicated. Now I want to read this message that's coming from one of you who is watching us. You can watch us on crtv.cm. That's our Facebook page on CRT that's our Facebook page, and you can also watch us on our website crtv.cm, or catch snippets about our different programs. We are encouraging you to keep telling us how you're enjoying this program with us. This message is coming from Fochi Celestine, and this is what she says. I'm sending greetings to the Asoyams family and friends, wishing them good luck and long life, not leaving all of you there at the CRTV. Thank you so much, Fochi Celestine. If you're enjoying the program, you have the possibility to tell us how you're enjoying it. Please hook up with us anytime. Now I would like to take you to our job opportunities, but before we take you though, there is one guest who has come up so that we'll talk a little bit more about her civil society activities. Emily Mickey is come over, Emily. Good morning, and thank you for coming on the program with us today. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, very happy to have you. Please sit down.
Thank you very much.
So, Emily, tell me about your activity as a civil society advocate. Before we go, I see you're wearing a Yali t-shirt. Before we go on to your Yali activities.
Okay, Pochi, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm happy to see you today.
Very happy to have you here.
Yeah. My organization, Dennis Mickey Foundation, has been doing a lot of activities in developing communities, most especially in rural and urban poor communities. So we have done a lot of activities promoting women's rights, girls' rights, mentoring and coaching young girls and other youth to become leaders and taking leadership positions. So we've done a couple of activities to promote health, education, and food security. And we started this in 2013, and I named it in my father's memorial.
I remember reading somewhere that you named it after your father, but I was going to ask you though, tell us about your father. Okay. What is it about your father that made you want to translate it into this kind of action? Okay,
my dad, Dennis Mickey Tamofor, used to work as a bartender at Victoria Club, Limbe. He used to earn a salary of 22,000 francs. But with that salary, he was able to send me to Seka Baptist College, which cost over 300,000 francs. So he had a value for education, and with my mom's support, my mom too used to be a seller at the market, but they found value in education. So when I went to Seka, he passed on. But because I was also brilliant, I got scholarships. And with the challenges we faced after he passed on, my mom's health, I decided to do something that promotes the rights of widows, empowers young girls who are maybe without parents. That's how I began. Okay. So that I can stand up like I did, because I was able to go through school from scholarships, holiday jobs, till I went to a master's level from Eric. So with all the challenges and all the hurdles, I know there are several other young girls and women in those kind of challenges. So I decided to start something, and I could find no other way to call it but to do it in his memorial, because it was after he left us, or because of his sacrifices, that I went through those challenges that made me find a focus and a purpose for my life. And when I started, I wanted to work with those groups of persons, but with the impact and working in communities, we kept finding different problems and different challenges, and to propose different solutions, we got into different programs, different activities, different partnerships, different networks. So
in the second part of my exchange with you, I'll ask you about the challenges, because I want to know, you definitely have some difficulties, how you handle them. But at this moment, though, I want you to tell us a little bit more about the reach, like the different aspects that you've gone into concerning your advocacy.
Okay, we've done a lot of activities in promoting education. We work with schools, a lot in Limbe, we've done a lot of activities in Boya too, and in the Northwest we've done activities in Mo region. We've also opened into different communities like the Far North. We did a drug abuse campaign there. And right now we're launching a branch in Yaoundé on the 29th. In fact, we're doing an activity right now at Gineco, Hopital Gineco, for the SDG 10th anniversary. So my team is there cleaning up and donating blood this morning. And on the 29th of September, that's on Saturday, we'll be at an orphanage in Korbison to launch officially the Yaoundé branch. And we've done a lot of activities on health. We've worked on Global Fund projects, worked in partnership with CAMEROUN, Reach Out Cameroon, where we've done a lot of community advocacy against HIV and AIDS, educating young girls on the spread of HIV, especially school dropouts. So we've done several things. We have farms where people can pick up jobs. Several activities in the community.
You're talking about jobs. I should just let you know that in a short while I'll take a break from you before I come back, so we'll wrap up. So we'll go talk about jobs with Kembe Ngochi, who is already here. But let me ask you to tell us about what do people say when they see you come on the field? Because they look at you, I'm sure they're like, you look young for what you do. You hear that a lot when young people get into development work. And what is the reaction? Do people welcome you openly? Is that the first response you get? And how is your exchange with people?
The first response I get is, who is this child? Everywhere. Even last week I had a journalist tell me openly to my face, who are you, a young girl talking to political candidates or political leaders? And I'm like, yes, I'm young and 29, but it doesn't stop me from talking to all of them, because that's what we want to do, because we have a project, Youth in the Picture. We make and build capacities of young people so they can stand up for those kind of positions and make decisions. So we have them now being honorables for the United Nations, different opportunities. So the fact that we are young doesn't mean we should be left out of the picture, but we should be put in the picture to propose innovative ideas and solutions. I get that a lot. Even my mom is like, don't run before your shadow. Take it slow, you're too fast. And some people are positive, because I've had others told me like, you're very young and I'm happy you started early. I had a call yesterday from the US, and one of my mothers said, Dipikine, you're really making me proud. How are you doing all of these things right now? So it gives encouragement and it gives the push. Like once they say you're young, it tells me, do more. You
have more energy. Definitely, when they say you're young, it means you've got more energy and more push. But it also means that you must have wisdom from other people.
Yes.
It doesn't it?
True.
Okay.
I have a lot of mentors.
Thank you. That's a good word. Probably that's where we'll come back to talk about what you're doing and maybe your mentorship issues, and also the challenges that you face. And let me leave you to go talk about jobs. You stay with us so that I move a bit and go discover what Kembe Ngochi. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Very happy to have you on the program.
Particularly very happy today, Pochi. Maybe you give me an opportunity to tell you why.
Tell me. I'm very happy to know.
Today is my wife's birthday.
If you didn't know, let me do some Kongosa. Kembe Ngochi's wife is a colleague here in the CRTV, so it's my honor to say happy birthday to Eleanor.
Yes, so she's very happy today.
Sure, she should be.
But she's not here. She's not here with me.
I guess she's working.
Yeah, she's on duty for the CRTV. She's trailing one of the presidential candidates. She's presently at Ndikinimiki. So I just want to wish her happy birthday today.
No, of course. You've given me goose pimples. I mean, what a way to have your birthday mentioned. If you are in Ndikinimiki, you want to say happy birthday to a special somebody, just say to Eleanor and she'll recognize herself. And now that we're talking about your wife and yourself on this TV, how is it working out? Like, is it fun?
It's pretty fun.
So we're working in the same place?
Well, it has its inconveniences, but we're good. I think we prepared for it, and we're moving on just fine.
I wish you a lot of happiness going forward.
Thank you.
A lot of positive lessons that you pick from the challenges that you meet. The problem with life is not to have challenges. The problem is to be able to learn something from the challenge.
Definitely.
Because as I usually say, we don't learn from birthday parties. So we learn when it's rough. Now, talking about when it's rough, sometimes it gets really rough at work. and you think this job is not for me. If you're one of those who sometimes think this job is not for me, you should know some people don't have jobs at all, and they are looking and asking themselves why Pochi is talking when Kembe should be talking and giving them jobs. Kembe Ngochi, back over to you.
Before I start talking, Pochi, let me take you to task.
Yes.
What do you know about telecommunications engineering?
Very little, not much, and not very positive things. I only see them as people pushing buttons and always wrapped in ropes, in wires. But yeah, so I suppose that's the career that we're going to be looking at.
Of course, Pochi. I spoke to Frank Ebong. He's a young telecommunications engineer. He works with us here in the CRTV. So he tells us more about this job in the following.
Unfortunately, we can't tell where our machines have caught cold. But one thing is, when you're live, you just handle that. So handle that with us. Kembe Gochi, maybe you tell us a little bit more about this colleague before we give another try at the machine.
Yeah, he told me that it has to do with a lot of technicalities, and it's quite unfortunate that we couldn't get him. But I hope subsequently. Let's
try again to see if we can. I don't know if Yokadi could make some magic for us. Let's hope. I'm crossing my two fingers to hope that we get. It sounds like those scary movies, you know. Did you watch a scary movie that was like bang bang? I'm like, no. So, unfortunately, you might just want to summarize to us what he said in that video.
He says that a telecommunications engineer has to do with a conversion of digital images. You know, what we see on TV, it's not, it goes through a process. So we want to know about the process, conversion of digital images into what we actually see, how they come, it all comes together. So that's the package he put together. You know, I'm not really a specialist in the domain, but what I retained from a discussion yesterday is conversion of digital images, what we see on television. They are the ones behind the magic. So that's just it.
Well, thank you so much. We're now going to have job opportunities out there. I want to let you know that later on in this program, we'll be talking to Shi Lontum Chadze. He is a special statistician, and I'm encouraging you to stay with us to find out what he's come to talk about. We'll also have Bilashi Emmanuel, who has released a new video, a new gospel video. You don't want to miss it. Just stay with Cameroun Feeling. Now give us the job opportunities.
Okay, I have 5 of them this morning. I begin with this one. A hotel in Yaoundé is in need of receptionist location Yaoundé, and they say qualifications: you need to have at least an advanced level certificate and knowledge of hotel management techniques, good communication skills, and you must be bilingual. And how to apply for this one, you go to jumiajobs.com, and the deadline is September 30, 2018. I take this other one now from a spa in Yaoundé, looking to expand its services. They are in need of professional barbers. A spa in Yaoundé looking to expand its services. They say that qualifications: knowledge of proper hair treatment, haircuts and tinting, proven working experience in the domain, and fluency in English and French. And how to apply for this one, you go to jumiajobs.com, jumiajobs.com for the second one. I quickly take the third one now. A legal assistant, the advertiser, U.S. Embassy in Cameroon. Legal assistant from the U.S. Embassy in Cameroon. That's the third job we have this morning. Qualifications: a bachelor's degree in law, political science, international relations, or international development. Good understanding of the Cameroonian criminal justice and international institutions, and 3 years of working experience. Excellent communication skills, both written and verbal. How to apply? You go to the official website of the U.S. Embassy in Cameroon. The official website of the U.S. Embassy in Cameroon. You find that on your screens. And the deadline is September 28, 2018. The fourth job this morning, human resource assistant, advertiser, Douala-based company, location Douala. Qualifications: have a first degree in human resource or business law or equivalent, awareness of latest developments within employment legislation, excellent communication skills, both written and verbal, and be at least 28 years old. And how to apply for this one, you go to aquajobs.com. Aquajobs.com. The deadline is September 30, 2018. The last one I have this morning, I took it last week. Water quality technician trainee, the deadline is October 31, 2018. They say here that Watch Water Cameroon says a bachelor's degree, as of qualifications, a bachelor's degree with work course or coursework including chemistry, bacteriology, water technology, geology or related subjects, knowledge of collecting water samples, analyzing data and interpreting results, and ability to undertake frequent field trips and assist in trade fairs and expositions. And how to apply for this one, you email your cover letter and CV to watchwater.ca@gmail.com, watchwater.ca@gmail.com, or you visit aquajobs.com. The deadline for this one is October 31, 2018. Pachi.
Thank you so much, Kimbe Ngochi, for coming and bringing the jobs. Would you promise us that we can still have this video maybe next week?
Yeah, next week we'll definitely see Frank Ebong.
By that time, I hope we would have solved our problem with the computers to find out what is wrong. Thank you so much for coming. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you very much.
And through your wish, happy birthday again to Eleanor, who is in Dikinimiki for work reasons. I'll go back to continue my discussion with Emily Miki, who is talking about her advocacy and her different actions to contribute in development. Behind her, we'll be talking to Shea Lontum Shadze. He's a statistician with an absolutely beautiful story that I want to share with you. Now, let me go back to Emily. Emily, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
I hope you're enjoying the program with us.
Yes, I am.
All right. A while ago, you were talking about mentorship, that you have a lot of mentors. That's why probably you're able to move forward and faster, because you say people keep wondering why you're going this fast.
Yeah.
Are you worried, though, that you're going fast? Is that a problem for you?
No.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Okay, so tell me about your mentors.
I have so many mentors.
Okay.
They are numerous. They are both male and female. And most of them are people that have been in organizational work, developmental work. So most of them have NGOs themselves. Most of them work with NGOs or have experience in working with NGOs. So they help me build my capacity in project writing, organizational management, recruiting volunteers and staff, and connecting me to their networks and opportunities, because one thing with growing your organization is belonging to networks, belonging to people recommending you for what you do. So my mentors...
I'm going to come in there. There's a beautiful picture on your Facebook page in which we see President Barack Obama. Why the choice of that picture?
That was in July when we went for the Obama Foundation Leaders Program.
Okay.
So I was one of the 5 that was selected from Cameroon amongst 200 young Africans that went to South Africa to celebrate Mandela's anniversary. And the program kind of brought African leaders, emerging African leaders, trained them, and I had the opportunity to meet with President Barack firsthand, talk to him, ask him questions, exchanges. And I think it's all because of the work I've been doing, and most especially because I also belong to the Mandela Washington Fellows Cameroon Association, which is also a program that he started for young Africans that takes young Africans to the US for a 6 weeks program, which is why Lontum and I are here, because we are both Mandela Fellows.
Okay. Tell me about partnership in what you're doing. There are so many young people who are stepping out to get involved in development. One of the questions that usually come up is how to join hands with another person to work. Is it easy to partner with other people? Is it you're here with Lontum? We'll be talking to him shortly on the program, and you've done other things with other colleagues. First of all, is it easy? Secondly, what are some of the issues that could come up?
It's not very easy, but it has impact. First, people's availability. And then some people are not open to share or open their space to receive partners. So when you find someone that can open their space to share with you, share their knowledge, then it's a good deal. Because one thing we faced a lot, especially me in the communities or working with people, is the hiding of information. So there's always this thing like, you want to steal my idea, you want to steal my project.
Does that worry you?
it worries me because people don't open up, which is something we should change. Because if we open up, we help more people. Sharing ideas and partnerships and spaces instead creates more impact than us hiding them. Because the moment we hide, we block ourselves and the thousands of others that could benefit. So that's one of the biggest challenge. And then clashing of schedules in partnerships, because a partner might want you participating in an activity and you're on another
you're
one.
also starting something.
Yeah, so there's that, but then I've been able to manage it a lot because with building capacities for others, when I'm needed somewhere, I cannot be there, I send someone else. Like right now, I'm supposed to be at Guinea-Co. I'm not there, but the team is there. I'm supposed to be going to Beto after this. So I've been invited for a program in Douala tomorrow, I cannot be there, I'm sending another person. So that's partnership, working together.
That's a good idea. I hope that you've been heard on that. It must not be you all the time. You can create, you can extend your hand and your reach by having people represent you. Now tell me about your vision, your ambition, where you want to go, who you want to be. Yeah, because that's definitely where you should be looking at. You know? So tell me about who would Emily Mickey want to be in 10 years, 15 years?
Oh, nice. 10 years. In 10 years, I think in 10 years I want to be, because I think I've done a lot already. So at 10 years, I should be married, have a family, and then my structures, because I have two, Dennis Mickey Foundation and FAT Ventures, should be well structured that I should not be there for it to exist. So my biggest vision right now is making it such that they can stand on their own. When I'm not there, they still run. So even with or without me, it leaves a legacy. And also, I'm looking towards getting into politics. Like if you watch my video, President Obama, I was asking him a question related to that because I'm in that process where I'm trying to find a party to belong to, or maybe start a journey in politics. So while I'm moving towards that, I'm building my capacity, I'm taking my time on the road and then learning from others, learning from other candidates, learning from other party members, especially as I've done a lot of work training political party members and others. So it gives me the opportunity to learn firsthand on the tricks and the ways to run in politics. So that's one thing I also want to do. And got things to try to get different projects in different communities.
I wish you, Emily Mickey, a lot of success going forward. I definitely wish that you find a political party to join because there's no harm, there's no shame in doing politics. If you feel it's a calling, go for it. So the way you talk, I'm like, she knows what she's doing. So go for it, and we'll be very happy to be enjoying as you move forward. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you, sweetheart.
There's somebody in Boya called Cavino. Do you know MC Cavino?
I know he's my guy.
He's your guy. Are you one of the slay queens?
No, I slay in a different way.
Okay. You see, Cavino, unveiling your life one by one. Right now, though, this is not good for you because this is Cavino with girls, okay? This is our drama page on the program. I hope, I'm praying that our video will allow us to watch this. Calvino in a video that's called Caught. It's with Miss P. Just enjoy. Where is Susan? It's one of those days that you want to believe that something is wrong, but you know what, when it's live, we'll hold the best end of it. So we have you, so we know that we have the best end of the show. Just stay with us and we'll go as far as we can go. Emily Mickey is coming back on the set to bring us Shea Lontum Shadze. Please come in. Shea Lontum, thank you so much for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Yes, but please be careful. Yes, sit down. There you go. So now you know why we were saying that Shea Lontum is our special guest. because it's not every day that we receive a statistician who has visual impairment. But let me start. Can I remove your face cap?
Okay.
You're such a handsome guy, you know. We want people to be able to enjoy you the way you are. Shay Lontum, thank you for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure once more.
Okay. Why do people call you Shay? Because I do understand it's not your name.
It's not my name. Shay is actually
a title.
Yeah.
Is that
traditional title in my tribe? So as I grew up, somehow people ascribed that title to me and I adopted it, but I actually don't hold the title.
The title.
Shay, yeah.
Okay. When I was told that you have visual impairment, but that you're a statistician who does a lot of things. I mean, you were on a trip with other Yali fellows to go to the United States to get empowered. You're back and you're continuing to work in different ways. First of all, how do you put all of that together? How do you make sure that you run your day normally to become to be a statistician, a development activist, and all of that? Is it difficult? Do you have challenges?
Of course, I've experienced a lot of challenges. Perhaps I think some clarity will really help me to answer your question more clearly.
Okay. Tell me about your education. How did you become a statistician?
Okay, so I actually studied economics in the University of Buea.
Okay.
But I studied with a bias towards statistics.
Okay, you didn't want statistics?
Pardon?
You didn't like statistics? Or when you say a bias, what did you mean by that?
No, I studied with a bias towards statistics.
Oh, right.
I studied economics, but I took a lot of statistics-oriented courses.
All right.
And then I also took a lot of courses independently. Like I took specialization courses on Coursera. So I was employed by the Cameroon government as a statistical analyst for the Cameroon Ministry of Finance, which was actually some kind of a challenge for me to help build my competencies in that area.
When was this? When did you start working with the government?
2012, so I've been in the government for the past 6 years.
Okay. And how is your work experience? How do you relate with colleagues? How do you work? I don't know, paint us a picture of how a day is like for you.
Okay, so my work at the public service as a statistician is not necessarily ideal for a number of reasons, because the Cameroon public service is replete with paperwork.
Okay.
And I generally work on the computer, which means that a lot of my activities at work I have to improvise in order to obtain the information in a format that is amenable to computerization.
Okay.
Yeah, and then another thing too is public perception of persons with disabilities. Negative public perception of persons with disabilities actually permeate into the workspace. So if you have like dealings with people at work, if you're just exchanging emails or talking on phone from afar, people tend to treat you with so much respect. But it's like the minute they see you, the contempt that is a function of their own attitude towards disabled persons creep in, and you realize that more often than not you have to struggle to prove yourself. So at times you are trapped between proving yourself and doing your work. And so
in that situation, what do you usually tell people when you meet people who are limited in the understanding of who Lontum Shadze is? What do you tell them? Do you just smile and say it's okay, or is there something you've been saying over these years to make people know you're a normal person like everybody?
I actually generally don't try to address that, because I realize it can be a very serious distraction from my work. So what I do is I just focus on performing my work. Of course, occasionally, if people's attitudes are actually going to interfere with my work, then the most important thing is to seek clarity. I mean, like, ask the right questions, bring the situations that will enable both parties to realize that the most important thing here is the work that has to be done, and that's the parameter with which I should be judged.
Okay.
Yeah, because ultimately at work, during work circumstances, you are not seeking to make friends. You are seeking to accomplish something. So if you take I mean, if I were a disability advocate, then that would be my job.
Okay.
But since my job is something else, I try to focus
on what your
job
is.
Yeah.
We're actually showing some pictures of you abroad, and I wanted you to see something about your trip abroad. Do you want to share with us the places you went to, who you saw, why you traveled in the first place?
I
hope that we're going to have those pictures roll again as you're
I don't know the specific trip. I travel all the time, so
okay.
I don't know.
Or maybe we'll start with your trip with the Yali fellows.
Okay. So I traveled to the United States as that's under the Mandela Washington Fellowship last June. I studied at Georgia State University, that's in Atlanta. Yes, I studied under the Public Management Institute of Georgia State University. I think it was quite an enriching experience. I met a lot of like-minded young Africans in the area of public management, and we actually built such a network. I think in future, when civic engagements are being done around the continent, or business people coming together to forge a way forward, or public servants trying to forge the future of Africa together, a lot of us yearly fellows are going to meet our colleagues from other countries around the table, and that I think is the much more powerful impact of yearly that we are still to experience.
I kind of think that way too, so I share that way of thinking. Tell me about your challenging, your ambition. What would you like to? What are those things that still lie ahead of you that you want to achieve, or that you're looking at coming across?
So, I'm actually very. In fact, what I will say is I view a continent of Africa that is prospering under sustainable and inclusive growth. And for that to be done, we have to make sure we implement evidence-based decision-making as much as possible. Okay. So that somehow is some kind of my passion, because I want to see a situation in which leaders don't make decisions from the gut, in which the decisions that leaders both in private sector and in government try to make to forge their institutions ahead is based on evidence, is based on data. So I focus on trying to provide the data and using the data to provide the evidence that people need to make those decisions. Right now, a lot of our decision making is still being done very instinctively. Okay. So I'm hoping for that time when we can
make decisions based on data.
Yeah, based on evidence. So that's really my ambition.
If I heard your name well, you're from Kimbo?
Yes, I'm from Car.
He says it's from Car. Tell me a little bit about childhood, about growing up.
So I lost my sight when I was 4 years old.
Okay.
Just a few months after I lost my father. And my sight actually deteriorated gradually following post-surgical complications. So my sight deteriorated gradually. I think it's by the age of 7 that I actually became completely blind. So when my father was on his dying bed, he had a lot of concerns about me, because at that time people still had lots of stereotypes about persons with disabilities. So he was never sure about. I was his greatest worry about what will happen to this child, because when he was alive, he was committed to see me become successful. But now that then it became a problem. At that time, the chaplain of the Chisholm Hospital when he was based was Father Roland Berenguer. So he shared his concern with Father Roland Berenguer, and Father Roland said he was going to do something to help. So after my father died, Father Roland came and took me to Sajoka. Sajoka is St. Joseph's Children and Adults Home. Is based in Bafut. That's where I learned how to read and write Braille, and I was integrated into a regular primary school. This is what we call mainstreaming. So I was integrated into CS Mambo Bafut, where I did my primary education. Because my sight deteriorated gradually, I somehow never took very good note of what was happening to me. Generally people, let me just distract a bit. Human beings generally function very instinctively. A lot of times we exaggerate the extent to which we need our eyes. The truth is that we actually don't use them as much as we think.
As we think.
Yeah, and my situation growing up actually provided a lot of evidence for this, because I know the things that I used to do without relying a lot on my sight. And so I continued doing them even when my sight was deteriorating. The difference is that occasionally I'll get involved in an accident.
Okay.
So this is what actually happened to me growing up. But I think after my sight, after I completely lost my sight, after some time I also adapted to that fact, and then I became more stable.
You're very strong in the way you speak, and not many people speak like that. So
I'm a partial stammerer.
Oh no, that's fine. We accept that fine. Tell me, when you talk to people with disabilities and they are not as strong in their minds as you are, what do you tell them? People who are affected by the way people see them or talk about them, you are pretty straightforward. You say you are at work, and unfortunately or fortunately, your job is not paying attention to that. Your job is statistics, so you want to continue doing your job. When you meet people who get affected by the way society treats them, what do you tell them?
Actually, I think that's a situation that's actually more complicated than what I can actually tell them, because people build their experiences over time. It is easier for me to talk about the experiences we share, because people come from different environments. People have different experiences. So most of the difficulties I will have in life as a disabled person may be different from those of another person. But there are certain experiences that we may share together. So like the way people will treat you if you approach them in an office. And when it comes to those experiences that we share together, the best thing to have is just to have a conversation with people, tell them your own story, and then let your story inspire them the way it relates to their own experience. But I generally don't.
You don't think that should worry them?
No. Anyway, I think people have a right to be worried by the experiences they have in life. But I generally don't think there is a fix. There is some kind of a big fix to the problems that people have. But it is just important to share your experiences. At times, just knowing that this experience is not shared by you alone can be of help. And then telling people about the way you have overcome certain situations your own may also help. I mean, they may not necessarily adopt their solutions or your own methods the way they are, because the experiences are different. But at least it can help inform the choices they make in future.
It's definitely a starting point. Thank you so much, Shea Lontum, for coming on Shea Lontum Shadze. If I were going to ask you to say good morning in Lamso, I was not going to say Banso. I know there's a big concern out there from Kimbo. People who are like, I don't speak Banso, I speak Lamso. If you're going to say something in Lamso to people watching you in Kimbo, what will you say? That is quick. What did you say? Tell us, those of us who don't speak.
I just extended my greetings to everybody and hope that the day started well for everyone.
Okay, we are hoping that the day started well for you. Thank you so much for waking up with the CRTV. Lontum Shadze, thank you for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure.
I wish you a lot of success going forward. I also wish that your coming here has inspired some people, and that you continue to inspire everybody. Another thing I could tell you is that even if for people who do not see, if you could see, you will see that people treat one another the same way. It's not about disabilities. We human beings will always have issues with one another. So we're now going to go to a partnership that has been working magic on the CRTV. It's between Deutsche Welle and the CRTV. I'm hoping that our cameras and our microphones and our computers have all become warm and are ready now to go with us. Now I'll meet you behind that for a continuation of the program.
This is Buta Buti in the lowlands of Lesotho, where Nurse Mweke Motlati is based. Besides offering health services, she also trains other nurses working in various healthcare facilities in Lesotho.
As the clinical mentor, I go to the health centers and work together with the health centers.
It's a magical show today on Cameroon Feeling. You have those days when we almost cannot give you a video, and it's unfortunate. We did prepare it, we have them, and we'll see how to catch up in subsequent editions of the program. But in this one, you just have to stay with us. Let's go one step at a time to see what we'll achieve. Belle Suzanne, thank you for joining us on the set.
Thank you for having me.
You look pretty. Now, did we decide on yellow or something?
That's the question I asked myself when I got into the studio. You're because like, you are in yellow, I'm in yellow, and Ariane is in yellow. What's happening to this team?
It's the only cock in the team who has the blue.
Exactly. But that notwithstanding, they say, what's the meaning of a blue, rather of a yellow color? They say it symbolizes jealousy. Is that true?
Jealousy. And when you're talking about women, I'm sure many people will be like, yeah, but I don't subscribe to that. I see like sunshine, like happiness, like warmth.
I just want to say I'm not jealous this morning.
I'm also not jealous
just so much in love with those who are watching us this morning.
We are all so much in love with you, and we are holding it together so that we can gradually move to the end of this program. Even though the computers and the machines are letting us down a bit, we're enjoying you to stay with us and see how we manage life. This is how we manage life. Belle Suzanne, we're talking about made in Cameroon, and we're talking about leather.
Exactly.
Tell us about it.
Well, Portia, you know that in the northern parts of Cameroon, there is a lot of
hides and skin.
Exactly. Yes. We have a lot of cattle rearing. We have so many sheep rearing and so forth and so on and so forth. And so in those days, people will slaughter their animals and then discard the skin. But craftsmen, or let's say the population out there, some few people say, no, this is not what we should be doing. We should be making good use of those of the animal skin, because they can use this skin to produce very beautiful things. They have therefore set up an association where they are recycling this animal skin, cattle, sheep, you name them, and so they recycle this skin, produce leather, and then transform the leather into very beautiful handbags, shoes, and there's one particular one which I love this much. They call it Samara.
Yes,
I
think very comfortable.
Exactly, very comfortable. But Portia, do you know that people in those days never went for those things? Because for leather, you know, the ones that are made up north, it's true that they will go in for the ones that come from abroad, because they're highly, they're treated, refined, and that. And so they will not go for those leather because they think that the smell. And it's
true.
It's quite true.
A particular smell.
Exactly. They smell. But this time around, these people up north have decided to make it refined, like
to treat the other issue.
The other issue. And many people now go for this leather. So we caught up with a craftsman in Gadamabanga in the Adamawa region, and thanks to Celestin Sombele, we should say that the reports that is coming up next, it's a report from the north, from Celestin Sombele. So we caught up with that craftsman and to find out how he produces leather and how he goes about producing the other articles that we see. I'm
keeping my fingers and my toes and my hair crossed for you. And well, if you can't get that report, we'll probably keep the images and be commenting on the images. Let's give it a try. It doesn't look like we're going to have that report. I'm hoping that we could at least have the images. So you were telling us the different gadgets that this man produces.
Yes, very beautiful handbags, purse, Samara slippers, and many others. And what is so amazing is the fact that youth are now involved into this activity. We know that youth, they're now conscious of their status. They know that they need to make things straight for themselves rather than folding and struggle.
And it's probably thanks to the many young people who have struggled and are making it. So they're serving as examples for the others to follow. And so you can try. I think in last week's program we saw this young man. I think he was in Kribi.
Exactly.
who was
oh my gosh,
things,
doing
he was earning about 800,000, he said,
a month.
A month, and it makes you pale with jealousy, you know, with the yellow color that we're wearing. Anyway, thank you so much, Belle Suzanne, for coming. We wished we could bring you this report, and we are still struggling with our computers, but don't worry, we're keeping it together, and we have the best part. The best part is you watching us out there, and in a short while we're going to be giving you pictures of an international day that we want to share with you today. It's the International Day for Sign Languages. That was yesterday, and Belle Suzanne, do you know about sign languages?
Yeah, but not as much as you.
Not as much as she says, not as much as me. How much do I know about sign languages? Well, you want to know that yesterday was the International Day for Sign Languages, and sign language is what people, we just talked to Lontum Shadze, who can't see, and he uses the Braille. Well, people who are deaf, they use the sign language, and that's how they communicate. You want to know that this year was the very first International Day for the Sign Language, and the point that the international community wants to make about this day is that we should know more about the need for people who are deaf to communicate. I'm hoping that we should have some pictures of the sign language that we put together coming up, so that we can talk to you about this day. Essentially, the point that the international community wants to make is to push people in authority to recognize that helping people who are deaf to talk is part of respecting their civil rights or their rights as human beings. Do you know some persons who are hard of hearing, who have problems hearing?
I think yeah, in CRTV we do have a colleague who is usually behind one of these cameras.
Yes, who has hearing problems.
Hearing problems, and he has got this hearing device, yes, that enables him to listen or to hear people better. You were talking about sign languages, and already we have the images that are going, pictures coming up.
Including quotes. The quotations we selected are just to help you remember that people who are deaf, they are just like you and I, and they have a right to be heard. So we must create space to listen to them, and it is also on this day that we promote the uniqueness of our brothers and sisters who are deaf. Anybody on this earth has a unique character, and on this day, if you know a person who is deaf, this is your opportunity to pick out the unique positive thing about that person and celebrate that person for that. It's also a day to promote sign language. That's why we thought we could show with you some of those signs on television, so that you know them, you are used to them, you don't think they are abstract or they are strange, and when you see people using that, you know they are just part of a society and they're experimenting, or they are using their rights as human beings to communicate. And this is also a day that people are called upon to work with communities of deaf people. If you know a community, or you know a group, or you know a person who is deaf, it's on this day that we encourage you to work with them, go a journey with them, go a mile with them, ask them what their difficulty is, and maybe make a friend or two with people who are deaf, so that you can learn something about sign language. Belle Suzanne, you were saying you know somebody who is hard of hearing.
Yes. Yes, and of course, I think that with the device that he's got on, it has improved on his way.
It has works like everybody now.
You said something which I want to say. Many medical doctors, or when you are a woman and you go to the hospital, anything can happen.
Exactly.
Anything can happen. You might think that, okay, I'm going to have a child who is wealthy, but at the end, you end up having a child who is deaf.
You can say that again. You can even have a child who is healthy, and then the problem develops.
So we women, not even women, everybody, the community should learn the sign languages, because they are very, very important. Because it doesn't just suffice for us to, I'll take an example. You know, in our society today, we learn those things that are negative. For example, you'll be chatting with your friend and somebody does like this. It's a sign language, of course, but what does this mean? It means that it is down, or that it is not okay. Or sometimes when you do like this, these are the things we know that it's good. And even those who don't talk, or those who don't listen, or who don't hear that much, or who don't hear at all, when you do like this, at least you know that that's something which is good. But we should learn, as I was saying, to learn these languages, because this sign language, because it helps us to communicate with those who are deaf.
Susan, you're not going. I'm going to invite Bilashi. Bilashi, please join us on the set. Come over. Please come and sit here. Bilashi is a gospel artist who has just released a new song, a gospel song out there on the market, and the title of the song is "Mais lendemain." Did I get it right, Bilashi?
Yeah, you got it right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you very much.
So tell us about this song that you have on the market.
Well, the song "Mais lendemain" just came out day before yesterday, Sunday, and it's on the platform of social media. So,
okay.
"Mais lendemain" is talking about my tomorrow,
all right,
which is a gospel song I just released.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope that we'll have at least some images of "Mais lendemain" as you're talking. You've been on our sets a few times, and what is new this time about "Mais lendemain"?
"Mais lendemain," what is new about it is giving hope to my generation, like encouraging the youth to work more,
okay,
put more effort, because whatever we are to achieve in life depend on us. The effort you apply, whatever you want to get, you get it. So that's it.
Are you a fan of gospel, Susan?
Of course, because I think that when you listen to gospel music, you pray twice.
Okay.
Do you know that?
I've heard that repeatedly, and I believe that too.
And to make your day a day, you need to choose your favorite gospel song and sing. Believe me, it has worked for me, and it's definitely going to work for you. If you
believe,
come
right,
or you sing your gospel song, the whole day, your day will be bright.
I believe so too. But do you start your day with singing? Tell me about your story and singing. How did you come to? Because you are a tailor, isn't it?
Obviously.
And a designer. Because
I'm a fashion designer.
Is this your design you're wearing?
Yeah, this is my design, my creation.
It's a beautiful design.
It actually
thank you very much.
This looks like a midway between Atogo and.
Yeah. You're right.
All right. Well, but tell me. So, how did you move from being somebody who designs, who sews, to today a gospel artist? It's not the first song you're releasing out there.
Obviously. I started music like last year. But before starting music, I was a fashion designer.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just embarked into gospel music, but last year. Both work together. But apart from being a fashion designer, I also direct video.
Okay.
Like all my videos and my stuff, I'm the one who do them.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say direct, you shoot, you cut, what do you do?
Yeah, edit them. I write the scenario, everything about it, and I look for my colleague to shoot it, then I edit it, I do the editing.
Wow.
Then I also do videos for others too.
Yes, Susan.
Yes, Koshi, I want to find out from this artist, why did he choose to focus on gospel? Because maybe along the way, he thinks that gospel might help him to become famous.
Not obviously. When we talk of life, everything in life has a beginning and has an end. Like the day we were born, that is our beginning. But there become a times life ends. But where will we go to? Because when we talk about man is not more of physical, but man also has the spiritual aspect, which is the soul of the man. But the question now is, everything we are in life, or everything we are doing, at the end of the day, if we die now, where will we go to? So I'm so much concerned about the soul of the man than I'm so much concerned. The message I want to pass is giving hope to the soul of the man.
Okay.
Because life is not more about physical, but after the physical, the spiritual side continue. That's what I am into.
Well, your song is "Mais lendemain." The video is out there. What is the first reaction of people? And secondly, where are you taking the song to now that it's out?
Okay, now that the song is out, it just came out from last Sunday, day before yesterday, and I'm receiving a lot of positive reactions from fans and medias.
Okay.
Yeah, because since the song came out, more of views on YouTube, and people are writing, come to this social media, want to receive you on our channel, stuff like that. So we have a lot of positive response from those who are watching the songs.
Okay, but beyond that first reaction, what is your plan for your song? Are you going to be moving around to show it to people, or are you also going to be releasing they call it in Pidgin, the follow backs of that song, or is it one-off? What is the plan?
My plan now is to get the song promoted. Yeah. Like, it's a song of hope, it's a song of encouragement. Like, if you listen to the song, you get encouraged a lot. So it's just to encourage my fellow brethren to work harder in life.
Okay.
And keep hope in God.
All right.
Yeah.
You have a total fan in the name of Susan.
Not at all. You know, sometimes we do have artists that start in a particular domain, and as years go by, they divert. I just want to find out, are you going to be steady in your gospel genre? Because we know that you start with gospel and then later you divert into secular music.
Obviously, I get that question asked often by journalists like you. So my aim of starting gospel music is let the Lord take charge, but my mind is to focus on gospel music because I'm more concerned about the message.
Okay.
More about the message.
You need to stay with us, Bilashi. I'll be wrapping up with you not long from now, but I want to let you know that in a short while we're talking about CRTV on the web and looking at some of the things that are trending. I'm just inviting our colleagues to join us any moment from now, so we'll look into that. But meantime though, let me wrap up with Bilashi. Is there any message for your fans after you've released this video?
Well, the message I have to pass is let everyone be courageous. Like, know what you want in life. And whatever you want in life depends on the effort you apply. Because if you just sit down and fold your arms, your dreams will never come true.
Okay.
For your dream to come true, you need to work harder. You need to apply the effort to get what you want. So that's it. So just be encouraged and work harder and keep faith in God, keep hope in God, for He is the one. Our life depends on Him. So without God, we cannot do. So that's it.
Okay.
That's the message I have to pass on.
We are in we're in September, and we are not far from the end of the year. Is this how you plan to end the year, or should we be expecting some more songs from you?
Obviously. Like now, I released 2 songs, but the other one came. It was a maxi single of 2 songs. Mes lendemains à mon pays, which I will soon release it. It's talking about our country, just like my own contribution about what is going on. Yeah.
Your contribution and you say, Belle Susan, thank you so much for coming on the set.
Thank you, Portia. It's rather unfortunate we could not have that beautiful report which we put together, but surely we're going to come back to it on the Tuesday. That's a promise.
Next week. Thank you so much, Bilashi, for coming on the program.
The pleasure is all mine. Hope to be here again next time.
Yes.
And I would like to, after this, I'll be on Canal de English on the program Feel at Home. So you can watch me at 1 p.m. today.
All right, thank you so much for coming. I just want to let you know, if you're watching us on CRTV.cm, which is our Facebook page, which is our Facebook page, you want to know that some of the things trending as far as CRTV on the internet is concerned. You have a sub-website for presidential elections. You want to go find out about that sub-website. You also have updates about the election, where the candidates are going to, what their partners and their teams are doing, and what are they facing as far as challenges are concerned. And there's also something about the certification of CRTV's Facebook page. This is where we stop the program, though, unfortunately. We wish we could have gone up to 10 o'clock, but the machines say no. We've tried, and we were happy that you stayed with us all through. Maybe we'll leave you with some music, but definitely we'll leave you with a lot of love. Have a beautiful day. We'll be back on Thursday, and I want to let you know that tomorrow the program opens as usual with CRTV News with Diane Gassa, who will be saying good morning and bonjour to lead you up until 8:10 when Eric Christiania will take over. As for me, I'll be back with the whole team on Thursday for another edition. Bye-bye.
Para apañar.